Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, more theming arrives in Bayou Country. World of Color could have had drones. World of Color is returning soon.
Holiday merchandise has arrived. A new scavenger hunt is available. We talk with former cast member Tanya and more. DL Weekly starts now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome aboard the DL Weekly podcast. Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding. If this is your first time listening, we hope you'll check out our website at DLWeekly.net. If you have more time to spend, becoming an official weekly tier at DLWeekly.net/support is an especially good value. Thanks for traveling with us today, and we hope you have a happy and memorable listen to this week's episode.
Hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of October 2nd, 2024. I'm Tag Bushman.
And I'm Teresa Urban. How is it October already?
That's what I was just thinking.
I was struggling with this all day. But anyways.
September flew by.
It did. Well, we would like to thank everyone who supports the show. However, this week we'd like to give a special shout out to Tim for buying us a churro, Catherine B for becoming a new supporter, as well as Abby B and Christy J for continuing your support. If you would like to help support the show and get the ad-free versions of each episode, plus access to our supporter-only chat and a bunch of other fun perks, head on over to dlweekly.net/support and become an official weekly tier.
Now let's get to the news.
Extra, extra! Read all about it! DL Weekly reports from intrepid correspondents Tag and Teresa. You heard it here first, ladies and gents. Breaking news!
Well, more fun theming has appeared in Disneyland. The new water fountain and bottle filling station near Pooh Corner in Bayou Country has been decorated with H2O pots,
so like honey.
This continues the recent edition of the theming, like the Alice one at the fountain in Fantasyland near the Matterhorn. The new fountain in Bayou Country, which, by the way, also is a new sign that has appeared this week, that's why I keep calling it Bayou Country, features 2 honey pots dripping honey on the fountain below.
I can't handle how cute these are. The Alice one was wonderful. And again, we said this, was it last week, week before, when we were talking about the Alice theme fountain. The thing is with these is the fact that they're just adding new water fill stations and water fountains around the park is like amazing. But then the fact that they're going and like theming, like over the top theming them as well, amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm obsessed. I'm like waiting. I'm like, what's the next one? I do think there's going to be one popping up over in Frontierland. That's my next suspicion. They had walls up at kind of towards the exit of Big Thunder Mountain.
Oh.
So I'm curious if we're going to see another one pop up over there, which would be super cool. But yeah, this one's just so cool. Again, it's brightly colored. It's like a brightly colored blue. The honey pots are on top, but then there's also honey drips down by like where the fountains are. It's so good. Good job, Disney and Imagineers. Now,
I can't remember off the top of my head, did this bottle fill faster than their normal bottle filler things? I feel like sometimes the amount of water that comes out quickly is slow.
I can't remember.
I think it was a little better.
I was saving our seats for the parade when you went over and used the one that later became themed Alice. When we used it, it was just a regular water bottle fill station, and we were ecstatic that it existed. And then the Alice theming appeared, and we were like, what? But yeah, I was saving our seats for the parade. So I don't remember what you said when you came back. I feel like you said you thought it was faster, but maybe that was just the excitement because it existed.
I'm just glad that they have more of these locations
100%.
And they're theming them, because the fact that like so many people have been using the few that were there and somebody got onto it. And I'm also very happy because as much as we kind of sometimes rag on Disney for, cutting, different things or entertainment or whatever, this is cool. Like, they didn't have to theme this. We would have been fine without the theming.
100%.
But they are theming it. And I do also like this design that it's regular water fountains and a bottle filling station.
And they're clever themes, too. We've got Alice with the drink me. And now we've got honey spelled in a funky way that makes it H2O.
So what's going to be the Frontierland one if that ends up being one?
I don't know. I wouldn't have thought, like, this honey one never would have crossed my mind. Alice, I feel, is like an easier one to connect the dots for, especially because the attractions right there, the Alice themed restrooms are right there. Like that whole area
might be like panning for gold or something.
Maybe.
We'll have to see. I mean, we don't even know if that's what it's going to be.
Well, the other one in Frontierland's like a water pump.
That's true.
Which is also well themed for the area. But I'm curious. Well, and now I'm wondering too, because so far the ones that they've added are related to an IP in a way. So would you relate the one in Frontierland to an IP, or would you just relate it back to the land?
What IP would it relate to?
I don't know. Maybe
Toy
something.
Story, like...
There's been a lot of like Coco theming over there, so I don't know if they'd somehow do a Coco theme. Or I feel like they probably just theme it to the area. We'll find out. Time will tell. If it's even exists, we could be making that up.
That's
totally
true.
Recently in the Orange County Register, there was talk of how Disneyland almost used drones in World of Color when it premiered back in 2010. One of the reasons that this didn't come to be was governmental regulations on the use of drones in nighttime spectaculars. Regulations have decreased since then, which has resulted in drone shows at Disney Springs and Walt Disney World, and maybe drones will be in Disneyland's future as well. Not to mention, another park, Universal, uses drones also. So,
I am very surprised that this came to light that they were originally going to use it in 2010. That would have been so far ahead of the game. And in 2016, so they were working with Intel, which I didn't know made drones, to be honest with you. They said in 2016, 300 of the Intel drones were in Disney Springs for the Starbright Holiday Show. And then recently they've had a show called Disney Dreams That Soar, which I've seen online. It looks pretty amazing. It's also was running at Disney Springs and Disney World. So, did
you catch where this information was came from or leaked? Oh, it was at D23. Remember?
It was probably the
nighttime spectacular panel that we really wanted to go to, but it clashed with us being able to get to the Honda Center in time for the Legend ceremony.
Yeah.
We could have learned this weeks ago, Tag.
We could have.
But yeah, I'm trying to wrap my brain around, drones are more recent, right, in Disney history.
Sure.
Like we were just saying, what 2016?
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't, and I remember thinking how amazing and cool they looked in 2016. I think my mind would have been mush. It would have been my mind would have been so blown, it would have just been mush if World of Color would have premiered with them. I just can't wrap my brain around that, really. I'm also wondering, where would they be setting up the drones to lift off and all that?
Well, they could be anywhere backstage, probably.
So you don't need a big pad.
I don't know. I mean, I think that you could probably stagger them around backstage areas. Right now, they launch fireworks off of things that are on top of buildings and stuff.
That's
so
true.
You could put different launch pads around the buildings that are behind the
maybe
Incredicoaster and stuff
of,
there.
The show building for Midway Mania or something like that. Okay.
Yeah, in the back section where it's flat.
Yeah.
And then, they're drones. They could fly. I mean, they could potentially put them behind Cars Land and maneuver them over. I don't know.
That's wild.
We talked about it before because you were saying one of the reasons you thought that drones probably were a struggle in California was because there's neighborhoods and stuff right there. And so if something were to happen to one of the drones, like a high wind or they lose communication and it falls out of the sky, it's going to end up in the 5 freeway or end up in somebody's backyard. So I don't know. I think it'll be really interesting. And the fact that 14 years later, we are just now hearing about this. That's crazy.
They know how to keep secrets, Disney.
Apparently.
That's pretty amazing that was that tight under wraps for this long.
Yeah. Well, speaking of World of Color, the fountains at World of Color have been getting some TLC to keep the show in tip-top shape. According to the World of Color dining package calendar, it appears the show will be returning on October 25th.
Woo! Very exciting. So I'm curious. I'm wondering, it is World of Color 1 that is returning. Well, I guess it doesn't specify. It just says the World of Color dining package. But it's coming back before the holiday shift from Halloween time into the Christmas winter time holidays. And there's a holiday version of World of Color. Do you think it's going to be World of Color 1 for 3 weeks and then they flip it?
Probably. I feel like it's not as difficult to swap over that as it is the fireworks show and stuff for some reason. So I don't know. We'll have to see how that works out and see what it shows up. I will say when we were there last for D23, we did watch the World of Color show from the Lamplight Lounge, outdoor patio, and there were some fountains in the rear that were not operating properly. So I'm glad that they're taking the opportunity. The other thing that's weird that I always feel like sad about, I guess, is when you look at these pictures of the World of Color fountains when they pull them out. I mean, water really does a number on these things for being submerged so often. What are you going to do, I guess?
That's just part of the show.
Yeah. I also saw a picture on social media today that divers are in the lagoon doing stuff because there was somebody who was having a dining was dining at lamplight, and they look over and there was a guy in scuba gear under the water. So they're definitely working on some stuff.
Oh, that'd be wild.
That'd be cool. I think is what you mean. Cool.
Well, we're still less than a month away from Halloween, but that hasn't stopped the holiday merchandise from arriving at the resort. Among the options are a Mickey and Minnie couples shirt, a couple Haunted of Mansion themed shirts, and more. Okay, we need to talk about these couple shirts. First, I need to give a shout out to a weekly tier that was super amazing because when we went, Vern loves these couple shirts.
Yeah.
Backstory. And when we went for D23 in August, it was a girl ghost and a boy ghost, like a Minnie eared wearing ghost and then a Mickey eared wearing ghost. And each of them said, I think, my boo on them.
Oh,
and I was like,
cute.
I need to get those for Vern and I. Well, we and I were on the hunt and we could only find the Mickey ear wearing ghost, not in Vern's size. Minnie ear wearing ghost was nowhere to be found. So shout out to the very awesome weekly tier that went a couple weeks ago and was able to pick up both for us. So
nice.
We do own them now. Vern was very excited and happy about them. But now I feel the same way about these My Joy ones that have Santa Mickey and then like a Santa Mickey and Minnie is what I'm going to call them because they're just so cute.
They are
the thing that I like about them is you can wear them as individuals and not look like you're a weirdo by yourself. Like it's not like it doesn't make sense without the other person there. And the other thing I like too is they're very neutral to me. I feel like you and James could get the My Joys and not look. You know what I mean? Like it still makes sense. No matter the couple, I think they make sense.
Honestly, I feel like looking at this, I don't think without having somebody say that they're a couple shirt, I don't think I would have connected that they were a couple shirt.
It looks like if you were to stand together, it looks like Mickey and Minnie are like looking at each other. But again, like you said, it's not obviously a couple-y shirt.
Now, this Disneyland one that has like Mickey ear, like Christmas lights coming out of it, I think that's a really cool looking shirt. I don't need any more shirts. I realized when I was looking in my closet after this last trip that, remember I said I had to get rid of one to keep one?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, more like I probably have 4 times as many Disney shirts as I do regular shirts, which is a problem. And then, of course, this Making Spirits Bright one with the hitchhiking ghosts. That's pretty cool.
I need that shirt. Never have I needed a shirt more than I need that shirt. I love that shirt so much. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. I don't know what it is. It's amazing. I'm going to have to see if I can find a hidden Mickey to maybe pick that up for me too and go shopping because, man, so good. Okay, sorry, go on.
That's okay. I didn't have anything else to say. I'm sure there will be truckloads of more holiday merchandise as time goes on. This is just the first stuff that showed up.
Well, and there's stuff that showed up on Shop Disney that's not Shop Disney anymore. What it's called? Yes, DisneyStore.com now. There was all sorts of holiday merch that's popped up on there as well. So the holidays, the wintertime holidays are creeping in on Halloween time. Yeah.
I don't know how you found this, Teresa, but I thought this was pretty cool. The Disneyland Magic Key Instagram account posted a fun new scavenger hunt around the resort. The Floral Scavenger Hunt features different plants around the Disneyland Resort with the name of the plant and a picture to help you find them. This is a great way to enjoy the hard work and beauty of the horticulture team at the Disneyland Resort. I thought this was really cool.
I found it because I follow the Magic Key Instagram page. But it's so fun. I think I hope and I wish that they do more of these. It's just because it's right. It's a detail that gets overlooked, but is so amazing and detailed. The fact that they are swapping these plants out season after season, day after day, sometimes it feels like, is just, it's really amazing. Like I think of my personal garden at home, and it's lucky if I go out there and like take the weeds out of it, let alone swapping plants out and keeping it that fresh. The horticulture team at the resort is just top notch. So I love that they're getting some spotlight and being able to have guests be able to point these things out and really get to notice these things more.
Yeah. Well, I think, Disney's got to look at it, and they spend a lot of money on keeping the park looking nice. So why not have something fun and exciting, like a little scavenger hunt for it that people can go do? So I hope they do more stuff like this, because I do think it's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, we previously talked about the Scary Teddy popcorn bucket that debuted out in Walt Disney World last month. Well, Disneyland is getting the bucket, as we reported on previously, but it's coming on October 3rd. Along with the Scary Teddy is a Madame Leota straw clip.
Well, I know that you were really excited about the popcorn bucket.
He's so cute, yeah.
Problem is, where would you put him? Because didn't we have this conversation before?
No, I'm drawing a hard line. It's got to be out of this world for me to get a popcorn bucket, because I got to limit the collections. Popcorn buckets take up a lot of space.
That's true.
I love my popcorn buckets I currently own, but I can't go down that road full force. I just can't.
How about the Madame Leota
We already talked about last week how I have 59 pairs of Mickey ears when I had 0 when we started this podcast. So
how about the Madame Leota straw?
I mean, that does take up less space. Now, does it glow? I mean, that's the real question.
It might. It's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell. They don't say specifically. We'll find out tomorrow when they are released and guests are able to see them. It looks like it could, but I could also see it just kind of being that ghostly, glowy, plasticky color that they use for those. Very good. Very
I like
good.
This
I love
popcorn
him.
bucket. There's something about the popcorn bucket.
He's good. He's so cute.
But I'm with you. I don't need another popcorn bucket.
Yeah.
Well, a new treat has come to Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar. The Nightmare Grog is a Dole Whip mango pineapple with hint of Gorilla Grog served in a Nightmare Before Christmas souvenir cup. The cup features Jack and Zero decked out for the holidays with Trader Sam's printed on the side.
I'm telling you, these releases, especially this week, are making me extra sad that we're not going for the holidays, because I want this. I want this so bad. The cup is adorable. It's a Santa Jack Skellington with Zero. It's got little bone reindeer on it, and there's little skull. It's so cute. Skull snowflakes on it. I love this. I'm excited about this though, because this is now at least the second that I'm aware of plastic themed little Dole Whip cup that they've done at Tongariro Terrace and Trader Sam's. The first one being, you and I both got it. It was the Matterhorn themed one, which I love. It's such a great little, yes, it's a plastic printed cup, so that's not like one of the amazing fancy tiki mugs, but I still think they're really fun.
This cup, I think, looks cooler than the Matterhorn cup, and the Matterhorn cup I thought looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
So.
And the thing that's cool too is the Dole Whip it's like black or like gray.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like your typical
It reminds me of the
Whip.
gray stuff.
Yes. Honestly, that's what I kind of thought it was going to be, but it's still like a Dole Whip flavor. It's still fruit flavored, but it just looks very different.
Yeah, I actually had to look up Gorilla Grog. Apparently, Gorilla Grog is like the base of the Trader Sam's drinks, which I didn't know.
I think you and I tried it one of the times that we went, because there was one time that we tried the different non-alcoholic drinks, and I'm pretty sure Gorilla Grog was one of them, but I don't remember offhand what it tasted like. I'm sure it was delicious though. Well, Disney Visa card holders have a new discount that they can use. Card holders can save up to 25% off select rooms at a Disneyland Resort hotel on stays from October 20th through December 19th on Sunday through Thursdays. The Pixar Place Hotel is not part of the offer. Trips must be booked by December 9th and travel must be completed by December 20th. For full details, visit the link in our show notes, and also be sure to reach out to our friends over at ConciEARS, and they can help hook you up and make sure you get the best deal.
Yes.
This is kind of surprising to me, because this is leading up into, Halloween, but then also the wintertime holidays. So I'm really surprised that they're doing such a great deal during what is typically a very popular time at the resort. So if you already have a hotel stay booked, you can still take advantage. Somehow you can still call ConciEARS. They are the pros on this.
Yeah.
But I know that if you have booked through ConciEARS and one of these deals comes up after you've booked, they've got some way to work their magic that they can help you be able to take advantage of these great deals. So again, contact our friends over at ConciEARS. They can help you kind of navigate this amazing deal.
What I think is interesting about this, because you're talking about the timing of it, is, again, this is only for Sunday through Thursday, so it's the weekdays. It's not the weekends, which are very busy. I have to feel that Disney management for the hotels probably looks at the bookings coming up and they go, okay, we don't want to offer too big of a discount to too many people because we only have maybe a few rooms we want to try to book up. So what's something that like is a smaller amount of people? Disney Visa card holders. All right, well, let's offer them this amount. And so it kind of, because sometimes in the really off times, they'll be like up to 40% off for like anything, basically. Like you don't have to have a Visa card. It could be, or Magic Key holder discounts, stuff like that. So I think they kind of look at it because obviously every hotel everywhere wants to be as close to capacity at all times as possible. So, and with the holidays coming up, I feel like that's one time when people are trying to be a little more cautious with their money because they've got gifts to buy and all of that stuff. Or maybe they have a holiday like Christmas time, New Year's travel planned. So then maybe something like this would just be enough to like encourage people to get those. But as people know, for me, Disneyland on-property hotels still do, even with 25% off on those days. Just for me. But more power to you. Well, this is more of a possibility than a for sure thing, but I've actually seen this reported a few different places online, so I thought we should talk about it. Every October, Disneyland has raised ticket prices. Historically. If you are thinking of a visit in the next few months, we recommend getting your tickets now. Our friends over at ConciEARS can help secure those for you before the prices go up. They haven't announced any prices going up. There hasn't been anything like it's been announced or something's coming, but historically, October has been the month where prices have gone up. It used to be, I want to say like January, February, the prices used to go up, or March or something. And now lately it's been October. So if you want to save a few bucks, depending on if the prices go up, and even if they don't, maybe it's just a great excuse to get some tickets to go to Disneyland. Again, Teresa said it a minute ago. I'll say it again. ConciEARS, they're great at getting you all booked and taken care of and everything like that.
I am Groot.
What do you mean you're hungry? Kraglin needs those pots for the rehydrator. We don't have time for snacks.
I am Groot.
Were you talking to Tag and Teresa again? How'd they even get a hold of you?
I am Groot.
Fine. One snack. That's it.
I am Groot.
No, I haven't seen any churros. You gotta talk to Vern. And stop smiling.
Well, it's that time again for SnackChat, and we are eating our way around the resort, of course, metaphorically, since we're not physically there, sadly. But our next stop is still Frontierland, and we're going to stop over at Rancho del Zocalo to talk about their amazing menu. I think I can easily speak for the both of us. One of our favorite places to eat in Disneyland. So many delicious different offerings.
I will say this is not part of the like normal menu, maybe I would say, but we have found that the Fantasmic dining package at this location has been, as the Disneyland tram narration would say, an especially good value. In fact, James and I were talking about trying to get some type of booking for something on the trip we're planning. And he was like, well, do we want to do like the dining package at Blue Bayou? And I said, I think the better deal is Rancho, because the seating is not that far off from where you'd get for Blue Bayou. And it's so much cheaper. Wasn't it like $40, $35?
Yeah, I'm pulling them up right now because I want to say Blue Bayou is now like $80 or $90, which is a lot, especially depending on how many people are in your party. That can add up very, very quickly. Yes, Blue Bayou is currently $89 for lunch or dinner per guest, whereas Riverbell, a little bit less, but they start at $58 per guest. But Rancho is where it's at, $35 per guest. So it's less than half the price of Blue Bayou.
What do you get as options again, since you happen to have it up right in front of you?
So the adult menu, there's a chili verde riblet, sweet and spicy shrimp taco, potato tacos, which are plant-based, and the sweet and savory carne asada. Now, Tag and I both got the sweet and savory carne asada, and we're
was very good.
It was so good. Each entree is served with radish slaw, cilantro, lime rice, Korean potato salad, refried beans, and a cortadillo, which is a dessert. It was like a white cake
it was good.
with I want to say it was like a strawberry center.
It was good.
It was very good. Light too.
You also didn't mention that the producers both got the potato tacos.
They did. They both got the potato tacos.
Those were really great too.
Yep, they enjoyed it. The only complaint there was I think it was 2 potato tacos where they felt like 3 would have been a better portion size. And then of course comes with a fountain beverage as well.
Yeah, so Rancho is where it's at for fantastic dining packages. And if for kids it's only $25 per guest and they get a riblet, the potato taco, or a mac and cheese.
But yeah, $35 versus $89. I feel like that's a
no-brainer.
A no-brainer.
Yeah. I mean, you can't beat the atmosphere and stuff at the Blue Bayou, but for that price, you might as well just go in and pay off the regular menu and get exactly what you want instead of being limited to the Fantasmic menu.
Yeah. I was a big fan. I know we're very off topic. I was a big fan of the Blue Bayou dining package for Fantasmic for quite a while, but that was when it I feel like it was that's what I thought. I felt like it was either $50 or $60 back when we were like, this is amazing. This is wonderful. I think they've priced me out now.
Yeah.
Because the other thing too is the menu options changed for Blue Bayou, and I wasn't as excited about them as what I had been in the past.
I agree with you.
But that's just me. I still think Blue Bayou is amazing. I just don't know if I'd do the Fantasmic dining package.
I don't think you could really beat the atmosphere of the Blue Bayou.
No.
So
back to Rancho. Yeah. Now that we've taken you on a little side tour, a little side quest.
So I will tell you, of the things that are on the current entree menu, I normally would just get, for me, I've gotten the trio of street tacos because I like the tacos they have there. They have a beef, a chicken, and a soy chorizo, which, by the way, very, very good. Served with corn tortillas and a tomatillo sauce garnished with onions and cilantro. And you also get a side of rice and beans with that. So I think it's pretty good.
There's a burrito Sonora with beef or a burrito Sonora with chicken that you can get in the a burrito in the wrap, or you can get those in the bowls like Tag was mentioning, but they come with rice, or beans, rice, salsa fresca, sour cream, and cojita cheese, and same with the bowls come with the same thing. It looks like you have a choice of rice or beans with the bowl, whereas the burrito you get rice and beans. Currently, there's also a torta cubana, which is a breaded steak, sliced ham, panela cheese, jalapeno mayo, guatacio sauce. I'm sorry, I probably mispronounced that. Beans, shredded lettuce, tomatoes, and julienne onions on a grilled bolillo.
Yeah. They also have a pollo asado, which is a grilled achiote marinated half chicken with rice, beans, curtido slaw, and flour tortilla. I'm so sorry, people, for us butchering. We're so terrible at this sometimes. The carne asada fries, I saw tons of people getting these.
It looks like a so this is not one that I've tried at this location, but this looks like an incredible value. It looks like it's a very shareable portion, but it's fries topped with spicy cheese sauce, beans, avocado salsa, carne asada, and chipotle lime crema. Maybe next time we go, we'll have to try the carne asadas, because the carne asada fries, because last time we were sitting there, we saw multiple of them come out, and I just remember looking at them like, ooh, should have got that. That looks amazing.
Well, I didn't know they had this either. I would totally buy this the next time, which is an esquite bowl, which is white corn with chipotle cream, crispy corn, cilantro, and cojita cheese.
I was thinking the same thing. There you go. Next time we'll get the carne asada fries and then a esquite bowl, and we'll divvy them up so we can have like a half size of each.
Kate in the chat said that the carne asada fries were spicy, very spicy. So I guess be ready for that.
For the plant-based offerings,
they have a soy chorizo con papas tacos with salsa fresca topped with onions and cilantro. That sounds their soy chorizo is very good because I get that with the tacos.
It's very yummy. And then salads. I actually enjoyed this salad the last time we were in the parks. It's the Rancho del Zocalo chicken Caesar salad, which is diced artichoke marinated chicken breast. It is cold chicken. I just want to throw that out there because sometimes salads have warm or cold chicken. But it's chicken breast, romaine lettuce, crunchy corn kernels, pepitas, and cojita cheese with like tossed in dressing. They make this salad fresh in front of you. Like when you go and you order it, the wonderful workers there like toss it all together and mix it up right there and put it in a chilled bowl and then hand it to you. It was delightful. It was so refreshing on that hot August day when I had it. I was so happy with this choice. One of my new favorites. There's a lot of delicious, if you're a salad person, there's a lot of delicious different salads around the resort. This is definitely one of them.
Yeah. On the kids' Disney check menus, they have a bean and cheese burrito that you can get with rice, applesauce, vegetables, and a choice of milk or a Dasani water, and a chicken taco, which has the same accompaniments as well. And the desserts, I feel like on this list, I feel like every time we go there, they have different desserts. So I feel like this switches a lot. Currently, what do they have?
There's churro loops con cajita. So they're fried churro loops tossed with spiced cinnamon sugar and served with cajita caramel. I do know this was part of the Halloween time foodie guide. So I believe both of these are Halloween time specific.
The other one's a Mickey-shaped pumpkin salted dulce cream puff. Filled with pumpkin mousse and salted dulce de leche. So they've had flan there before. They've had the cake thing for the Fantasmic dining package that's really good. So they have got just a lot of great options there. And don't let if you ever come to this location and you worry about the line, it seems like the line is really long. It moves pretty quick, so don't worry about that. Also, there is, on the outside patio, there's one of our favorite water filling stations because it is like ice cold water that comes out. It's by one of the little places where you can get toppings and condiments and stuff like that. So that's a great place and almost never has a line of people getting drinks. So they also have some plastic cups sitting there so you can get that. So if you ever find yourself really thirsty in Frontierland, great place to get that as well.
There are also some fun beverages that swap out at this location frequently. Currently, there's a cantaloupe agua fresca, which is cantaloupe puree with lime juice. There was a different, now I'm forgetting what kind of agua fresca they had when I was there. And it had the consistency almost like a smoothie. It was so good. Now I don't remember what kind of fruit it was, but it was delicious. And currently there's also a iced Mexican hot chocolate served, of course, with whipped cream and chocolate shavings.
Did you mobile order it?
The agua fresca?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
We walked through. They don't have mobile order there anymore, remember?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, we didn't.
Another fun fact, we've said this on the show before, but I just want to mention it because we found it a little confusing. If you go in there for the dining package, you make your way past the line, and there's actually like a special station just for the Fantasmic dining package. That's where you go to get in. So it was a little confusing when we did it because I was like, I don't know where I'm supposed to be going, but that's where it is. So previously we spoke to Debbie and Steve with Designer Park Company about their rope drop bag and their newer bag, which is called the single rider bag, which Teresa took the last time around the park.
I love the single rider. Like that is because that is now my new go-to park bag.
Well, if you want to get one of these for yourself because you want to experience the parks just like Teresa does with the bag, you can use our promo code DLWeekly to get 10% off your purchase. Head on over to designerparkco.com to pick one up.
Your attention, please. DL Weekly Trivia is now leaving for a Grand Circle tour of the Magic Kingdom, with stops at New Orleans Square, Mickey's Toontown, and Tomorrowland. All weekly tiers for...
Hello there, you've made it to Trivia Land.
It was tough. I mean, there was a lot going on in SnackChat this week over at Rancho. There's, wonderful menu there.
Where is Trivia Land in relation to Frontierland?
It's here, it's there, it's everywhere. You know, we're beyond the berm, something like that, around the park.
So
everywhere.
It took us a little bit to get from Rancho to you, so hopefully it's a good visit to Trivia Land.
Yeah, and I hope you brought like some tacos with or something too.
We ate them all, I'm sorry.
No, okay. Well,
but we'll take you over there afterwards.
Well, now I'm not sure if I'm going to give you hard questions or not this week.
Do you want tacos? Then you got to give us good questions.
He wants bribes.
All right, well, we'll see how you do. 3 listener questions and 1 from me, starting with a 1 from Donna S. How deep is the Jungle Cruise water at Disneyland?
Oh, not very. I know that much. Is it like...
It's deeper than you think, but not super deep.
I think 5 is what's sticking out.
Yeah, I almost said 5 too. I also want to say 8 for some reason.
Okay, do you want to say 5 or 8? Or do you want to split the middle?
6.5?
Yeah.
I'll stick with 5 feet. That seems fairly deep.
The thing that like throws me is the hippos.
Well, they're not a full hippo. They're
No,
only
I
half a
know,
hippo.
but like how the mechanism and all that stuff.
I think 5 feet, something like that. I don't know. We'll see.
You've already locked in at 5.
Yep.
You're locking in. Our second question for you this week from listener Ryan P. In Spider-Man Web Slingers, a sign reads, "It has been 39 days without blank."
Oh.
That is excitement, Teresa.
39 days without something.
Is in the queue?
Yes.
Okay. I think I know this one.
Without, I don't know, without a temporal incursion? I don't know.
Temporal incursion.
No. Sure.
Okay.
You're going to have it.
I was like,
and then
Teresa's leaving
I'm gonna
tag out
probably
on this
change
one.
it anyway. So what is it?
No, I'm locking you in at temporal incursion. That's a
Okay.
good one.
Then what are you saying?
It's something to do with there's like a spud gun. It's like a potato gun or a spud
Sure.
gun incident. And then if you go over to the shop, you can see the like potato gun.
Oh, okay.
It's like some sort of, I can't remember what the verbiage is exactly, but I just remember
something with a
that
potato gun.
because I thought it was so funny that it's in the queue, like the report
And the fact that you
thing's
connected
in the
those.
queue, and then you can actually find the spud gun thing in the shop.
And you connected them.
But it's something to do with it's like a spud gun or a potato gun. I can't
Sure.
remember what the exact wording is.
I'm sure that Teresa's right, but she's locked me in, so I guess I'm stuck
Or I
with it.
just made this completely up. That's also possible.
Possible.
Boy, won't it be a surprise when it's a temporal incursion.
I'm also just now... okay, I'm sorry, everybody, for derailing us. I also just noticed your Halloween ears that you're
My
wearing.
ears.
Were those
These
from
are the
last
ones-
year?
These are the ones that I wore last year, and we were endlessly amused because we didn't realize the little ghost in the middle glows in the dark.
Oh.
And I think you actually took a picture because I'm like, what? It glows? And we were in the Haunted Mansion.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And you're like, yeah, see? The weird things we remember.
Sure.
That's how it works. That's the point of trivia, though, right?
Yes.
That's good, because Chrissy A wants to really test your memory, because we've asked this trivia question before.
Oh, no.
And we'll see if
bad
you
at
remember
these
it. What was the first attraction to be closed or canceled?
Closed
Like-
or
like-
canceled.
yeah.
Was it the fan? No. What is the? It was in Tomorrowland, and it was those things like that. Those
That was the
flying
first one. That was in
saucers?
like the 60s, though.
Oh,
Yeah, the flying saucers is what you're thinking. I want to
It
say
wasn't
almost
like
like the
the
Viewliner was like one of the first things that like was not very long because it got
But
replaced
did
by
it-
the monorail.
was it? Was it an opening day?
The attraction opened July 30th, 1955.
So,
But then it closed. Okay, so it didn't get canceled. It got closed. So you kind of just gave that part away. But let's see.
it wasn't the Phantom boats.
No,
Was
those
it?
hung around for
Yeah,
a little bit. Trying to think of like what opened a little bit later than like would have gotten like. I don't know. There's so
Well,
much.
it's
that-
not like the elephants.
No, that was later too. 'Cause
No,
that was in
no,
the
no.
circus, right?
No. I mean like Dumbo, because they were all going to be pink, and then they decided to make him gray, so he opened late, or make him look like Dumbo, so they opened late. Oh, so if you're wondering why we're reacting, this week's episode is a live stream for some of our supporters, and Tara just said something in the chat that made me think. Yes, there was there were boats in Tomorrowland, weren't they called the Tomorrowland boats? I'm going to say
I thought they were the
Tomorrowland
Phantom boats. I also want to challenge us for this, James. You might have to look this up while we're having our discussion topic.
Yeah.
But Olivia said half credit if we answer the question for DCA.
Ooh, I can try to.
I feel like
explore that one.
Superstar Limo closed like
That
really
seemed
quick.
like it was instant, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think, was there
If
any other
anything planned
DCA?
that never made it.
Well, I mean, that's even harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Superstar Limo was the first like thing to close at DCA that was newer.
I'm already locked in.
Okay,
Now
I'm gonna
curious
say. Does it count if they rename it, James?
Like if they rename it with a refurb, I would count that. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess Teresa said the Tomorrowland boats. I'm gonna say the Phantom boats. We've had this answer before.
Maybe it's the same one.
It probably is, but the Phantom boats is the official title of it or whatever, the Tomorrowland Phantom Boats or whatever. That's what I'm going to
Was it
say.
the original? Maybe it was called
I don't know, but that's what I'm going to put
Tomorrowland Boats.
All right. Got a split on some boats. And final question for you. Can you sort the dark rides of the resort into approximately how long each attraction takes? I'm looking for them to be grouped into 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7-minute sections based on the Touring Plans website.
You're saying how long the attraction is, and we're only talking dark rides?
Only the dark rides.
Are you talking Disneyland and California Adventure, or just Disneyland?
Yes, both.
Ooh.
What's the shortest dark ride that there is? Mr. Toad is pretty quick. That's probably less than 2 minutes.
No, Peter Pan seems like it's a blink too.
They can both be the 2-minute deal. Okay, can you give us a hint to kind of, so we don't just spend forever on this?
I can.
How many dark rides are there that are in
your
this?
Yes, your answer.
I've counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9. Okay, so let's make a list of dark rides first, and then we can categorize them. So there's Toad, Pinocchio, Snow White, Alice, Peter Pan.
Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin.
Yep. Are you counting Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway?
I'm not counting that one.
Okay.
I was going to say that's the longest.
Monsters, Inc.,
and then Ariel.
Does Toy Story Midway Mania count as a dark ride?
No.
Okay. Ariel, yep.
Haunted Mansion's a dark ride.
Is the Haunted Mansion a dark ride?
I'm not calling that the spirit of the original.
Winnie the
rides.
Pooh, you said yes?
That one I would count.
Haunted, no, you said no.
So
and
then
same
not
thing with
Pirates.
not Pirates either.
Not Pirates.
Not
either.
Pirates,
No.
not Small World.
How many did we just name?
You were supposed to be counting.
You were writing things down. You're the one with the pen.
Your
You were
list
counting.
you have spit out has the same 9 I was looking for.
Okay.
So,
And are you saying how many, like you said?
I want you to group them. So which ones take about 2 minutes, about 3 minutes, about 4 minutes, about 5 minutes, and about 7 minutes.
3,
There's
4,
definitely some rounding.
5,
so
and 7.
2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, and 7. Yep.
So what's the longest one? Because wait,
I think the Ariel Little Mermaid.
is the longest one is a
Yeah.
7-minute? Okay. So Little Mermaid for 7.
I
Winnie
do
the
think
Pooh's pretty long.
Monsters, Inc. and
Is
Winnie
also
the
long.
Pooh is probably 5.
Okay.
I do think for 2 minutes, I'm going to say Toad and Peter Pan.
Okay. For 4 minutes, I'm going to say Alice.
3 minutes, I would. Oh, and we've got Roger Rabbit somewhere in there. Is he 4 minutes? I think Snow.
Roger Rabbit's longer, so yeah.
I think Snow and Pinocchio are 3 minutes.
That sounds good.
So for 2 minutes, we're going to say Toad and Peter Pan. 3 minutes, Snow White and Pinocchio. 4 minutes, Alice and Roger Rabbit. 5 minutes, Winnie the Pooh and Monsters, Inc. And 7 minutes is The Little Mermaid.
Excellent. Very good. Yeah, it would have been a little different story with Pirates and Haunted, because then
Yes.
we haven't thrown out like a 20 and 25 minutes.
Well, Pirates is like 14 or 15 or something
Yeah.
like that, and Haunted Mansion is...
It needs to be 13.
It's probably
if it's
13.
not, it needs to be.
Sure.
I mean, that would be pretty great, right? So, yeah, all right. That's 4 questions down. So come back. We got answers, but you got to talk about things first.
Ready to pop the question and take advantage of 30% off? The jewelers at BlueNile.com have got sparkle down to a science with beautiful lab-grown diamonds worthy of your most brilliant moments. Their lab-grown diamonds are independently graded and guaranteed identical to natural diamonds, and they're ready to ship to your door. Go to BlueNile.com to get 30% off select lab-grown diamonds. That's BlueNile.com for 30% off lab-grown diamonds. BlueNile.com.
Well, joining us this week, we are very excited to have Tanya with us. Now, Tanya is a former cast member who had a couple of different roles at her time at the Disneyland Resort. So welcome, Tanya. We're super excited to have you.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
I need to share a little backstory of how we got connected with Tanya. Tanya is a DL Weekly listener. Her and her friend Amber both listen, and we bumped into them while at D23 and got to chatting, and poof, now here you are. So pretty amazing.
It is. And Amber is really the person who introduced us.
Yes.
But for her, we would not have spoken.
In case it pops up, Amber is also on the call with us because
Yes.
Amber and Tanya are like a package deal. So if there's another voice that pops up, that is Amber, who's there helping Tanya out, making sure that everything works or whatever. Being that little bit of courage and comfort person, I guess, during all of this. But by the end of this, we're all gonna be friends. It's fine.
Yes.
We're already friends. So let's start like we always do. Tell us your Disney story. What got you interested in Disney or Disneyland, and just kind of what got you into your love of the company?
Not to make a crazy long story, but my parents met and married at Howard University. My dad finished medical school. My mom finished law school. They had me and my sister.
Wow.
That's our family, our household. When I was 4, we moved to Southern California. I thought I was sad. I missed the Washington Monument, I kept saying. They were like, whatever. So they started showing me all the things that were here for me, available for me in my life that I had no clue of at 4, right? But one of the things was they took us to Disneyland. Oh my gosh. I had to stay. I had to live there. It was just, I was sprung, even at 4. That's it. The other thing they did, they took me to my first ballet, Nutcracker. I was also sprung. So I had to take ballet because I couldn't live at Disneyland. I had to take ballet classes. That was the trade-off. So, okay. They allowed me to take ballet. Actually, the school I was attending was a private school, and that was something that was offered there. So I got to take ballet, and I loved it. I stayed with it. We moved to Palos Verdes, and I went into the dance school there, the ballet school, and just kept with it. Through high school, I was in there. Through college, I was dancing. So dance is a big part of my life. I grew up, we did Disney. We'd maybe go like 4 times a year. Usually it's my birthday. I have to go then. And then whenever family would come to town, we were the family in Southern California. So they would always come to visit. So we'd get to go to Disney. But, it would kill me because you wouldn't know when the next trip was coming unless it was my birthday around the corner. I didn't know. So I was hoarding all the tickets. We're talking ticket days now. Okay. So whatever leftover tickets we had, they were just like gold to me. I was Golem with the ring, right? And so my parents just couldn't understand it, but that's where I was, and I was always the girly girl. I wanted the big dress, the princess, and so just fit with my aesthetic, right? So this is me, and I grew up this way, and I also wanted to be a cheerleader. So I was a cheerleader. I got to be a song leader, was what they had in our high school. And so my junior and senior years, I got to be a song leader. Well, somewhere around that time, I also found out that Disney auditioned. Well, I'd been going to dance classes. Yes, let's go. So my mom, who tried to caution me that, you're not going to like it if you work there. It's not going to be the same for you. I was like, no, we're going to do this. So she supported me, even though she didn't think it was a good idea necessarily. She stayed. She took me to the audition, stayed in the parking lot in her car, and just waited. And I mean, that was a long process, and she was just there. I remember my mom was just amazing. She supports me in everything, even if she doesn't believe in it, as long as I can convince her it's all important to me.
Wow.
So, yeah. So I've gotten to do a lot of things over the years. So I auditioned, and I got into the Totally Mini Parade. So Totally Mini, that was me. I was so excited. And that was my first role at Disneyland.
So first of all, I absolutely adore that your 4-year-old self was devastated that you were no longer able to see the Washington Monument. I just, like, of all the things in Washington, the Washington Monument was the thing for you. But then quickly your parents like, oh, but look, Disneyland. And I also love that your 4-year-old self fell in love with Disneyland as hard as you did. And same thing with ballet, how that, like, those two things at 4, like, completely changed or shape the trajectory of your life. That's crazy. And I also love the Gollum reference with the tickets. Mm-hmm. Just like, my precious.
I really was.
I mean, they didn't expire. You got to use those ride tickets for the next time you're at the park. So it's very smart.
It was important to me. You know, my family wasn't into it like I was, but it was important to me. Now, Amber, I'm sure, has a very different story, but I've never heard it.
Well, let's hear it.
You want me to share? Okay. I think mine's a little different than most people's, in that I am very much about more the parks than really anything else. But a lot of that goes back to how I grew up. I didn't grow up watching all of the animated Disney movies that a lot of my peers did, because I was a child during that Disney Renaissance. But I didn't watch them because everything scared me. So I was 4 and I had a babysitter put on Beauty and the Beast, and she had to turn it off very early on because it terrified me. So I did grow up on Mary Poppins, Sound of Music, like those kinds of things. And we did watch like Disney sing-along videos. So I knew a lot of like, the bigger songs, but I wasn't familiar with the movies. But we were living in the Midwest at the time, and we come out to California to visit relatives because both of my parents grew up in California. And those trips generally involved a day at Disney. And I loved it. And I was that kid where after fireworks, I'd be begging to stay. And my parents would be like, no, we're going home to sleep. But the night owl in me was like, no, Disney's still open, so I need to still be here. But yeah, then it kind of grew from there after we moved here. Moved to California. And as I got older, I was a big Disney Channel kid with, Lizzie McGuire, Even Stevens, and then Hannah Montana and High School Musical. I was their target demographic for sure. Hannah Montana especially was made for me. But yeah, as I got older, and then once I was able to buy my own pass, my senior year of high school, I had a pass along with some friends, and I loved it. And it was so much fun, but I didn't get a pass again until after I graduated from college and started working full time. And then I got my cousin was like, hey, we should get Disneyland passes. I was like, yes, we should. So we bought passes again, and I've had one ever since.
Awesome.
So Amber, where in the Midwest, I have to ask?
So I was born in Nebraska, but I don't remember Nebraska because I was only 6 months old when we left. I was in Michigan. We lived in Michigan. We were about 2 hours outside of Chicago, about a half hour away from Notre Dame. So we'd go into, a lot of the time, the closest like mall and like major restaurants and eateries were in, Mishawaka, South Bend. So we'd go there a lot. It was about a half hour away from where we were, a tiny little town in Michigan.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we're from the Midwest, so that's why I asked, because, you got Nebraska, which Matt Mason, Nebraska State poet, we've had him on the show. He's from Nebraska. He still lives in Nebraska.
Yeah, he did this really incredible book of Disneyland poetry. When you enter Disneyland, Tanya, on your first day, now you're local, and are you a pass holder currently?
Absolutely.
Yep. So you're local and you're a pass holder, so this maybe it's different for you. But on your first day that you're going, maybe it's been a while, do you like to go under the left tunnel or the right tunnel? And then once you get to the hub, where do you like to go first? Adventureland, Fantasyland? How do you kind of attack the park, I guess would be a good way of saying it.
It depends on why I'm there. So all these years, I've been there so much. And I was that cast member who would sign in after your shift. I'm dragging people with me. Come on. We're going to sign in. Just one ride at least, so, okay.
I mean, I get it. You were working there all day. So you're like, come on, let's go play a little bit and then go home.
But, as we get into it, my role changed eventually into guest relations. And it was harder to get a cast member who has been on tours all day to come back. I had to reach back to a lot of my, some of them would, but I had to reach back a lot of times to some of my parade buddies to do it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I still was like, come on. So when I went with my family, seemed like they always went on the right side of the road, whatever that was, going in, going out. So, okay. Then when I was cast member signing in, you'd go in on the right. So I'd just go in by the bank and keep going. But now, and then actually, then later, pass holder, I go in on the left because I wanted to see if I'd run into anybody I knew at City Hall. But now most of those people don't work there anymore. And so what we've done is I found that it's about what my objective is for the day. So if I'm going in for a specific pair of ears, I'm probably going to go to the right because I'm going to Mad Hatter. But if I'm not, if I'm just going in for me, what I want to do, call the shots, I want to go into the left, I'll head down to the hub, and then I'm going to the left. And I'm going through Adventureland. Occasionally, if I'm like straight rope dropping, I'll try Tomorrowland, I'll try Space Mountain, but it's rare that I'm really a rope dropper these days. And I'm an early riser, but I just don't, just doesn't happen.
I feel like I'm a tried and true, like I love rope dropping. There's nothing to me like starting your morning in the parks. It's just there's some extra energy to be able to do that. But all we have to do is walk from our hotel and walk across the street and get into security. I don't know if I'd be quite a rope dropper if I had to leave my house, drive, go through the parking chaos that looks like it happens in the morning to then get all the way over.
But Teresa, we talked about this when we recorded the last episode. Mm-hmm. When I used to come from Northern California, we would leave the night before, drive through the night to arrive at the Mickey and Friends structure in the morning. Like, we didn't even check on the hotel. We literally got off the 5 right into the parking structure, and then would take the tram and go into the park, and then spend the whole day in the park.
Maybe be okay with that, because you just spent however many hours in the car anticipating being there. So it'd be like, I know get in.
that you're younger than me, Teresa, but I will tell you the last time I tried to do this, your body gets to a point where it's like, no, you need sleep. So I can't do that anymore. But it was great when I was younger.
The trajectory is basically planned based on what my day's about. If it's Dapper Day, I'm just going to go wherever the mood takes me. And, if I'm in comfortable shoes or if I'm in hard shoes, that might make a difference.
Yeah, I feel like most people do kind of what you did. Well, if they go a lot, they do what you do, which is like kind of who they're with or what their plan is. But people that go less frequently or, have like once a year trips things, it always seems to be the right for some reason, to go to the right. And then it's Adventureland, because I think there's just the west side of the park is just so fun.
It is.
Yeah.
It's chock full.
Mm-hmm.
Amber, do you?
I'm a right tunnel person.
You are.
We always go in the right tunnel.
I haven't really noticed.
You're always, we always enter on the right tunnel, and then when we leave, we're also on, for us, the right tunnel, because we're going past City Hall when we leave. Yeah.
When we go to Park Hop, we go out the right tunnel too. But like when we leave for the night, especially the last night, because I have like a whole ritual of like saying goodbye to the park, and it's always in front of the bank there. But so last of our initial questions is, what's your favorite attraction? So this could be any attraction in a Disney park. It doesn't have to be Disneyland, even though we are a Disneyland podcast.
For me, it's Haunted Mansion. Always has been. I'm on top of wanting the big dress. I wanted the big house. And so I'm fine with that ballroom scene where they're in the big long dresses and they're dancing the night away. I could have joined them. So Haunted Mansion for me, traditional Haunted Mansion.
Ooh, okay. So why traditional over the holiday version?
I think of them, the 999 happy residents, as actually being there all the time in the same vein. And so I enjoyed Nightmare Before Christmas, but when they introduced the IP into the attraction, it changed it a little bit. I resist change. I have to admit, I resist change. So whenever it's announced, I'm like, okay, I'm going to hold my breath and see what they do. I trust them, the Imagineers. I do. Mm-hmm. And some of my favorite things have come out of great change. I mean, honestly, Space Mountain, woohoo! I remember writing that for the first time and, just memories. But I've been there for a while, and it was a while ago when I was there. Like I said, totally mini. That's 86. So look it up. A lot of change had happened while I was there. And a lot of it I enjoy to this day. And I'm just so happy to have had the changes. But that particular change didn't enhance the experience for me, not necessarily. I try to get into it, and I try to look for the little Easter eggs, and now we've had the additional adjustments, and so I'm like, okay, let's see what's different here and why, and what did they move that portrait? December, May? Shouldn't have moved it. I don't know.
That's fair. I feel like a lot of people kind of feel that way.
Purist.
Yeah,
I am. I'm big into history, so that coupled with wanting the big dress and the castle and the mansion, and yeah, my parents were like, okay, just give her to it.
That's awesome.
What about you?
My favorites have kind of shifted over the years. Pre-COVID, I used to say my top favorites were Indiana Jones, Space, and Guardians Mission Breakout. Now I think it's more Indiana Jones, Rise, and Runaway Railway as my top three. But if we're just talking Disneyland,
you said anywhere in the world.
Yeah, I know.
You just went to Asia.
Yeah. So I've been thinking about that. And of all the rides when we went on at Hong Kong and Tokyo, I think Enchanted Tales of Beauty and the Beast is my favorite.
Just watching that on YouTube videos blows my mind away.
I agree.
We managed to get on it 3 times.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Just the way our days ended up working out. And each time we ended up in a different teacup. So we got a different experience each time. And our last time riding it, we were the front and center teacup for the Beast transformation. And it was amazing. We were both like, no phones. We're not recording anything. We're just watching this because it was literally right in front of us. And it was amazing. You look at that and you're just like, I'm sure the explanation is simple, but we're just like, how did you do that?
So at D23 this year, did you guys go in the Imagineering Pavilion? Did you go over to the Illusion section? Because they had a little mock-up of the Beast transformation scene. So it was a little bit more like, I don't want to say crude, but right, it was just like 3D printed stuff to kind of like proof of concept kind of thing. It was only, it was little. And I was sitting there, I was still watching it like, I still don't understand. And it's more, like I said, I don't mean to sound rude, but more crude because it was just proof of concept. So it's just like, this is our thought and it's going to work. But it's obviously way more amazing final thing. And I still couldn't figure out the proof of concept quite how that was working.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
D23 with a big group. So we split up for that pavilion, but I did see it. I did see it. I didn't realize I had seen it really because it was small, but when you describe it, I remember seeing that, but
I probably saw it, but it didn't register. I don't remember seeing it.
Sure.
I'm sure if I was
there was a lot of cool stuff on that table.
A lot of cool stuff. And honestly, I was going through and just like picture. And so I may even have a picture of it somewhere in my camera.
Well, I was going to say earlier, because you said you weren't taking videos and stuff, and I commend you for that, because I feel like here's old man Tag yelling at the cloud. I feel like so many people now don't experience the parks fully because they're behind. They're looking at their phones. So there was somebody. There was a little girl watching the fireworks for the first time next to us. She was, I don't know, early teens, maybe somewhere between like 10 and 13 years old, and it might even been a little bit younger. And I said, when the fireworks start, just put the phone down, because you can go on YouTube and there's plenty of like 4K amazing edits of this that's going to be way better than whatever you have on your phone. And she said, okay, I'll do that. And then like 3 minutes in the fireworks, she had her phone up. But anyway, experience it.
I agree. I totally agree with you. I think that you see a lot of that now, and it's sad. But hey, it is what it is. And technology, it's a blessing and a curse.
I agree.
I try as much as I can when I do record. I don't record everything, but when I do record, I won't necessarily be looking at my video. So many times my video will like go off and like half the screen is cut off because I'm looking at what's in front of me and not my phone.
Yeah.
So then I end up with not as good videos.
That's funny.
And me singing in the background.
It's my compromise with myself.
Oh, there it is. I actually sat there and took a video of the Beast transformation thing, trying to like figure it out. let's move on to the meat of the interview. Get to what it is, the reason that we are all here this evening. So, Tanya, you kind of started on this. You gave us a little taste already. Side note, I absolutely adore that your mom just like camped out in the parking lot while you were auditioning and just was like mentally but also clearly physically supporting you because she was just hanging out and waiting. That's incredible. So big kudos to your mom.
And understand, my mom was a practicing attorney at the time.
Wow.
So she took that day and just did that for me. And she did a lot of things growing up. I mean, I insisted on being in Girl Scouts, and she was like, that means mom.
It's like, I guess I'm a Girl Scout now too. Okay.
And this was sounds like also it was a time before like cell phones, so it wasn't like she was playing Candy Crush in the car.
No.
Probably the best thing she probably had was a book.
Yep,
exactly. That's what she had.
Incredible. Do you remember what it was like to do that first audition for Disney and like what the process was, what your feelings were, those sorts of things? I don't expect you to remember every detail, every move that they had to do, but just kind of like, what are your memories from that?
It was so emotional. It's even hard to talk about it, but you have to understand, I loved dance.
Yeah.
And now I was auditioning for Disney that I loved. And once I saw this like window, I hadn't really considered it before I saw the announcement at school. And so once I saw this was a thing and this was something I could do, I just had to, like, I couldn't breathe at the idea of not being able to do this. But auditions are scary. Oh my goodness. They go so fast. And I am not happy with movement until I'm comfortable with it. And I like to and then I will be all out but you can't do that in an audition. And I had to keep reminding myself. And then in the back of my mind, I was worried about if I make it, how am I going to make this work with song leading? I don't want to get kicked off the team and I don't want to lose that. But I was just like, okay, push it back. So this is what I was doing. Yes. And so I remember it was a traditional audition. They had you learn a series of steps, routine, and then you had to perform it. And so this is back in the day when DCA was a parking lot and, you could just go and literally park under the monorail pylon and then just walk over to the main gate. So all of the parade situation was kind of warehouse-like, and it was temporary structures, and it was in the back on West Street near what's now Pixar Hotel.
Oh, Pixar Place? Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I'm still disoriented sometimes when I, kind of think of like how things were laid out. But anyway, so you were way back there and you were outside and there was just like this big chain link fence and you could see the cars. And then there was a temporary trailer, kind of like the temporary classrooms. And those were offices. And then there was another structure, more warehouse-like, and lockers. And then, costumes and wigs and things were in there, but I didn't know that was in there yet. And then they had us they had us kind of learn the routine outside on the asphalt, just out there. And then you go in with your group, you get called with a group of people and you had numbers and you go in and it was your chance, and oh man, because I was going to break down if I didn't get this. I was going to lose my mind. So I could just barely breathe. And it was one of those things where they had you do the routine and then they section you off. You go to the left or you go to the right. And so now you're trying to figure out which group is the keeper group. Because one of those groups is going to get dismissed. And you're like, no, I got to be in the keeper group. So you don't know. And you're starting to look and you're trying to hold on to your nerves and you're trying to, just manage. And you're trying to remember that routine and reminding yourself to smile and give face. Because that's important. Even if you flub the steps, you got to give face.
I'm exhausted just listening to this.
I know. Okay, so you can imagine. The stress is so high. But okay, thankfully I got into the keeper group. And then they had you do another routine where you kind of interpreted a piece of music. So you kind of came up with, if I recall. And then, I don't know, at some point, eventually down the line, they kept dismissing people and then they started grouping us and, like with people. And I had overheard one of the girls was from Vegas.
Oh.
And that was bothering me because I was like, oh my gosh, these are showgirls. They're professional dancers, not just so I was like, oh my gosh, okay. And then I ended up in the group with her, to do something. And then it was like, okay, well, this is good. Which side of the room am I going to? And so ultimately they kept me, and then I couldn't believe it. And I was just, so I had to get paperwork and whatever. And my mom was still in the car, and it was just the longest day. But ultimately I went out there and I had tears in my eyes, and I was grabbing my paperwork, and I was just like, I made it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
I was going to ask what her role was for the parade. After all of that emotional whirlwind roller coaster,
it didn't
tower
matter,
drop of a day.
It didn't matter. And let me tell you, the whole time I've been at the park as an employed cast member, I didn't care that I got paid. I was like, yes, they're paying me. That's fine. Okay, but let's do it. So anyway, I ended up in the recording scene. So the Totally Mini Parade. And the only reason I really have recollection is because I was looking through pictures for you guys.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. I mean, I recalled I had a blue wig and big old earphones and this bright outfit. And at first they put us in black. It was crazy. They put us in black sweatsuit, it seemed like, with just bright name Mini across. And we worked for like 2 days. I remember thinking, okay, this gets hot in the summertime, but they know what they're doing. I'm just on board. So I did the choreography and I did the parade and the hot thing. Ultimately, within a week, I think, they switched us to these, bright colored outfits. I guess they weren't ready or whatever it was. So I was in the recording scene, and I'd either be placed in front of the float or behind the float with the 3 princesses that were singing the backup tape. So the Totally Mini Parade was Minnie Mouse was stepping out in the 80s. She looked like Madonna, and she had her outfit and this whole soundtrack, and it was all about Minnie Mouse. And she's stepping out with her yellow shoes. Who else could it be but Minnie Mouse? And so I loved that. So we were supposed to be singing the track with the princesses were singing backup, and we were with them, and we were the oohs and the ahs and, all of that. So we had these big giant microphones. They looked like snow cones or something. And, we'd sing into them and play with the rope according to the choreography. And, all these moves, I don't know. I loved it. I bought into it every second of every day. My friends just, I don't know. I had one girlfriend who also bought into it like me, and she was in the same unit. So we'd go into the park together a lot. Yeah, she got me. A lot like Amber gets me. She's the only friend I have that might be more of a fanatic than me. And I say might because she's split between Disney and Taylor Swift. If it weren't for that, I'd say she's more, but she's got split loyalties here. I'm all in.
That's crazy. Just your whole, because I've never been a performer. I've never been in a play at school or anything. I'm not a dancer. I'm not a singer. So I can't even going through and being judged and split into groups like that. To me, that is my nightmare. But
it was
for people who this is something that they're so passionate about and they love so much, especially for you that Disneyland is what, not only did you like what you were doing, but also it was at Disneyland. So it was double crazy love stakes going on. I can't even imagine the amount of pressure of just wanting it so bad because it's these 2 things you love, but then you got it. So that's really awesome. I have literally the 2 parades you've talked about, you alluded to one earlier, and then you talked about Totally Mini being your first one. I pulled these up because I have never seen these parades. This was just before I started actually going to the parks, in my life. And this parade looks crazy.
It was so fun.
It looks fun and crazy.
Yeah, and they had those big, they were supposed to be autograph books. And I loved those costumes I did because they had those jackets, and that was big in the day. There was a members only jacket. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
Yep.
Okay. So they looked like silk or satin members only jackets, but they were Mickey Mouse themed and Minnie Mouse themed. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the best costume in the parade. But that's okay. I had a part and I was so in. I was so thrilled. And then, as you say, there was pressure. There were other auditions. They auditioned quite regularly, it seemed. There were other things. There were cavalcades and other shows and things. And now, mind you, I did this high school, and then I was still at Disney, and I needed to go to college. So I got into the college program.
Wow.
And then I went to law school, and I was still in the college program. But hey, they let me do that so that I could keep my role. But I had to audition for those roles, and I panicked. I did some things I loved. Like, I got to open Videopolis. I did the opening of video. Do you guys know what that is?
Videopolis, yes. There's your little outfits. Okay. I found a YouTube video. I'm gonna have to send you this too, so you can walk down memory lane. But here's your crazy outfits with the giant headphones.
Totally recognizable. I was seen by people who knew me, who weren't at Disney, who like saw it on television. And we have a video at some place between my parents. I don't know, somewhere. But yeah. I was paired with the big bad wolf, and I had on. They told us to dress nice, so I ended up wearing what I wore to grad night. So I got to open Videopolis and dance with the big bad wolf, and oh my gosh, I had the best time. So there were all these things, and I didn't even have to audition for that one, I don't think, but there were other things. And so you're auditioning regularly. The last big parade I auditioned for was Snow White, and I did that parade, and I loved it. And that was my princess dream. Let me tell you, they put me in this purple and pink dress that almost went down to my ankles. And I had this little miniature hula hoop with flowers and ribbons. And it was so perfect princess moment for me. I loved it because secretly I had always wanted to be in the electrical parade in the Cinderella unit, the Cinderella court. Well, turns out I was too short. I found out when, I was in parades, and I was like, well, what about the nighttime? What about electrical? And they were like, oh, you were just too short for that. So I was like, well, what's the height requirement exactly? And then I kind of petitioned that they should lower it. And they did, but I'm 5'5.5". They lowered it to 5'6".
Oh.
I was like, but the heels, and they were like, no, that dress will not fit you.
Wow.
You're like, I'll make it work. I promise.
I know,
I'll make
I was
it work.
trying, but it just wasn't meant to be. But I was still in love, just in love with the and the Snow White parade did it for me. It gave me that princess feel with the dress and the costume. But let me tell you, that regular audition process, I was so scared, and every time, and I was just sick. Oh my gosh! So ultimately, I asked around. I was like, okay, look, I need to figure out a way where I can stay here and not have to go. So we've got to do some other job. I've got to find another role at Disneyland where I don't have to audition and maybe lose my chance to be here. So I looked around and I was like, wait, what are those plaid people doing? No clue. My friends were like, yeah, guest relations. And so I found out about guest relations, and they were like, no, you're going to have to know another language. Luckily, I spoke enough Spanish to get through.
There you go.
So I was able to transfer over to guest relations. Guess what? I had to go through training again. Traditions. I'm serious. I loved it. So I was fine with that. And I had some amazing moments in parades. And I'll tell you, I almost just broke down in tears the first time we practiced at night. We were halfway down the route for the first time, and one of the floats had problems. And so they stopped us. And we were just, it was close to the hub, done passing the hub, but it was on Main Street. And in it was. And, the parade stretched out, and they were like, stop, just wait. They were fixing whatever. And so it's at night, the park's closed, and the lights on. And it is just like the place I had imagined being all those years. And yeah, so I'm a full geek, Disney geek, and I practically wanted to cry. But I had to hold it in, and we were concentrating. And I couldn't, that was like the most pinch me moment of my life. And I still remember that. Yeah, just the lights twinkling in the trees, the lights on the building. it felt like I had the park all to myself. It was just a few, parade aids and dancers and things. I looked around and I just couldn't believe it. Wow, lost my mind. So I was all in.
That sounds like my dream, because my favorite time to be at Disneyland is at night with all the lights, and the team that does the lighting and the show design and stuff at night. It's magical during the day, but it's like super magical at night. And I told Teresa I don't care if I'm teaching or supposed to be working. I don't care. The next time they have one of those 24-hour nights, I'm there.
Okay, well, we'll be trying to do the same thing. And I am a morning person. I don't do well at night. When I did finally get into guest relations, and then guess what? Had to work City Hall for grad nights. I was having a hard time, but that's okay. I was there, but yeah. So I'm a sleepyhead. I get sleepy, but I'll be awake for probably till 2 a.m. and then I'll fall out on you.
Well, we had so much fun talking with Tanya and Amber that we're going to continue our conversation with them next week. So tune in for that.
Well, you've heard us talk about our great experiences staying at the Howard Johnson in Anaheim. Well, we have partnered with them to offer our listeners some really cool discounts. Weekly tiers can get 15% off their next stay. To take advantage of this discount, head on over to DLWeekly.net and click on the Howard Johnson logo. Be sure to use the promo code on our website to get the discount.
It's okay. I'll be the only weekly tier without an answer. Make sure you send your questions to Producer James or Producer Vern at trivia@DLWeekly.net.
Hi, welcome back. Glad you came back to Trivia Land.
Of course. I mean, we just had quite a whirlwind talking with Tanya and Amber, but I think we somehow made it back here.
We did.
I just got to say, maybe Trivia Land is your favorite because you come here twice every week. So,
I mean, kind of, because we don't get the full experience the first time. We got to come back to get the answers.
That's true. It's dramatic. So, all right. I'm not going to make you wait then.
Sure.
So, 4 questions. Here's how you did. Question 1 from Donna S. was, how deep is the Jungle Cruise water at Disneyland? You both said 5 feet, and 5 feet's the right answer.
Yeah.
Good job, us.
There are definitely some spots where it's probably a little shallower, some that's a little deeper, but seems like on average the consensus, 5 feet.
Nice. And that fits the hippos.
Fits the hippos, yes.
Question number 2 from Ryan P. In Spider-Man Web Slingers, a sign reads, it has been 39 days without blank. It is indeed a potato gun malfunction.
Good job, Teresa.
This is a solid reference to the kid in Iron Man 3, Harley Keener, because he's playing to try to make all the different potato guns. Apparently, there are a bunch of pun-related names like Spud Slinger, Spud Lightyear, Darth Tater, Air Spud,
Lightyear,
C3PO Tato, Sputterman. There were some gems.
Did you say Sputterman?
Sputterman.
Sputterman.
Absolute gems. I can't believe they didn't make the cut. All right. 3rd question from listener Chrissy A. What was the first attraction to be closed or canceled? Probably had this one asked before, which is probably why you are familiar enough to know the name of the attraction that was closed down was the Tomorrowland boats, which were renamed the Phantom boats.
Ooh, so do we both get it then?
I think we can give you both points for that one.
Look at that. Somehow the gods gave us both.
You talked your way through it enough that I'm on board with you having those points.
Okay.
I said Tomorrowland, you said Phantom, so it was
That's
2
what I'm
halves
saying.
of the whole answer.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, those Tomorrowland boats apparently just stopped working constantly, and the cast members had to go and rescue people.
Did you have a chance to get the answer for DCA?
My quick research agrees that it was probably Superstar Limo, which closed in 2002. So
Yeah.
it made it about a
yeah.
year.
Yep, I would say that makes sense.
Yeah, so it might not have even outlasted the Eureka, California parade.
I feel like that was around for a while.
There's a small part of me that kind of wishes I could have experienced Superstar Limo just to know what it was, because there are videos on YouTube, but of course they're back from 2001. They're not great, so you don't really get a true sense of what the attraction was. So there's a weird part of me that wishes I could, if I had a time machine. That's kind of a weird thing that I wouldn't tell a lot of people that that's what I was going to do with my time machine. If I had unlimited use, if I only have like one go at a time machine, that is not the moment in time.
You're going to 2001. You want to ride Superstar Limo.
Yeah, that I would pick. If I only had one chance at it, that wouldn't be the Disneyland historic moment that I would want to go back to. But if I had unlimited use, I just have this weird, I gotta know.
You know what we should do for a discussion topic one of these times is we shouldn't tell each other what we're gonna pick. We both come with our things. Is we should pick like two or three or five things.
I would say 5 because I think we could probably
things that don't exist anymore that we wish we could go back and like experience again or experience for the first time if we had never experienced it. One of my guilty pleasures, I feel like you mentioned it, would be the Eureka Parade. Now, it was not a great parade, but there is something awful but catchy about the song as well. And I talked about it at length on a recent Hub Crawl episode because we were talking about it, I want to say 3 or 4 episodes ago.
Go.
So
Tig has played the music of that for me multiple times.
Lucky you, James.
What do you think of the Eureka Parade music?
It's very 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've moved on to better things.
All right.
Last question. I asked you to sort the dark rides of the resort into groups of how long the ride length is according to the Touring Plans website. So the groups were 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7 minutes. And there's definitely some rounding.
No 6-minute rides for you.
I know.
Well, I'm surprised that there was 3, 4, and 5 minute because I feel like a lot of the dark rides feel very fast.
Yeah.
They do. So, according to Touring Plans, our 2-minute rides are Mr. Toad's Wild Ride and Snow White's Enchanted Wish.
Oh, really?
Our 3-minute attractions are Pinocchio's Daring Journey and Peter Pan's Flight.
So we just swapped those two.
There's still hope, Tig.
You're doing all right. Our 4-minute attractions are Alice in Wonderland, Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin, and The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Gave a little too much extra credit to Pooh.
That's okay.
I'm worried you would say it feels like it's 5 minutes long because it drags on, and that is incorrect.
I don't know if I would say that.
It does. I will say the Heffalumps and Woozles scene feels
really.
It feels long to me. I think because it's you're in. You can see the entire scene from when you enter.
But there's
the
so
scene
much
to
to
when you
see
exit
in there.
the scene. No, I know, but you know what I mean. I think that one feels like a lot because it's just one giant thing that you're looking at the whole time.
Do you feel the same way about Under the Sea and Ariel's Undersea Adventure too?
Not.
You can't see the other side.
Yes and no, because you can't see the other side.
That's fair. Just curious.
Similar, but not quite the same.
Yeah.
You know, I got to defend my magic band. So, last 2 groups, 5 minutes, Mike and Sully, Monsters, Inc. to the rescue, and 7 minutes, Ariel's Undersea Adventure. Definitely the longest of them.
Pretty good.
I'm pretty impressed with the 2 of you on that one and how well you did on that.
I don't know how you score us on that, but
yeah, you know what? You're close enough. I'll give you full points.
Good job.
At that.
Us.
I think that was a pretty good week and a pretty good show. And, you know, rounding errors, you're close enough in some of those.
Rounding errors.
But that's what we go with. So, a good score for you this week. Thank you, listeners, for sending in some great questions for them to try and answer. I'd love to have more of your questions so producer Vernon and I can keep on asking them. Just head on over to our website and you can submit them in the form at dlweekly.net/trivia.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
And a special thank you to Sidel for editing this podcast.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop and the doors have opened. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the episode. On behalf of all of our crew, thanks for traveling with us, and we hope you have a happy and memorable visit here at DL Weekly.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.